Hey, what's going on today, guys? Um, this recording, kind of recording my voice and then just putting up pictures that go along with it, or just other things that go along with it. I kind of like it a little bit. It's a lo- it's a lot less work. Um, than setting up the camera, getting all the lighting right. And I'm still trying to figure out the lighting, by the way. I enjoy making the camera videos a lot more because I feel like I feel like for some reason I just articulate better when I'm talking to a camera, and then you can also see my reactions more, and you can see my facial expressions, and I feel like that helps get ideas across a little better. But overall, when I'm just talking, to to the microphone right now. I'm just talking, and then I just put images over it, or videos or whatever. When I do that, it's a little easier for me, and I can really just and when I have an idea at the moment, I can just get it off my chest and say it instead of having it linger, and maybe I lose the idea or I lose the moment, and then when I try to come back to it, it's just not how I felt about it earlier. So these recording ones, they're gonna be in the channel still. I mean, I'll still have the ones where I'm talking to a camera, of course, because I just like that. I like presenting my ideas like that and presenting myself more like that. And then of course I'll still have I might start putting up gameplays. I might just start putting up other different things, kind of like exploring this whole um, YouTube creating videos and content on YouTube. I'm gonna start exploring that more because it's interesting to me, and I also just like it's kind of like therapy for me a little bit because I get to talk about things and get them off my chest and put them out there, and hopefully eventually at least some people start noticing and start uh, reacting, and we can start having conversations because I just enjoy talking to people and conversating with people about different things, and really just getting different views and opinions on things, and just exploring the human society and human culture, and just I like talking to people. Basically, I like having conversations with people about different things, especially things that I'm passionate about and I'm knowledgeable about. I love talking about other people that are also passionate and knowledgeable about things. Excuse me. Let me catch my breath. I'm getting excited, y'all, because this issue we're talking about today is is something I'm very passionate about, and I love, and and I know, like, this it's kind of like one of those guilty pleasure things out in the world that people are like, "Whoa, you like this thing? Okay, that's cool." It's kind of weird, but it's cool. And that is professional wrestling, my guys. Oh my goodness, I have a love and passion for professional wrestling that it is huge. Like, there are times in my life where I just sit around and I just watch hours and hours, spend days just watching professional wrestling and really watching it, and I watch YouTube videos about professional wrestling. I listen to podcasts from former professional. I just love professional wrestling. I love I love talking about it. I love listening to other people talk about it. I just love it. So I'm really excited to talk about it with you guys today. Just to kind of give my opinions on professional wrestling, not specifically any specifically like things happening in professional wrestling, but just professional wrestling as a whole. Um, like, kind of why I love it, kind of my views on it, and just kind of what I think about it. And I like I said earlier, I love professional wrestling. I'm passionate about it. And I could literally, if I get in a room with guys that love professional wrestling and we're all just talking about it, like, I could be there like for like weeks. I feel like if that was like physically possible, like, I could just put life on pause and just go to a room and talk with a bunch of guys about it. I would definitely do it. Watch professional wrestling, like react with them about it. Just oh man, that like, I'm just getting super excited just thinking about that, talking to you guys about it. It's just, oh man, yeah, it's just love professional wrestling. So now, um, a lot of time I'm still like a lot of people. I feel like when you say like, oh, what do you like watching? What do you like doing? And you say like pro wrestling. Some people like, oh, like some people know exactly what you're talking about, and then some people are like, oh, that's cool. What's that? And you're like, oh, like WWE and stuff, and like people like, oh, and some people get embarrassed, and I'm still kind of in that stage, like. Sometimes even when I bring it up in conversation with people, I'm like, pro wrestling, like I'm still nervous about it, and that's just because there's this stigma about it that like it's kind of a weird stigma. Everyone that you talk to about professional wrestling is like, you watch professional wrestling, you know it's fake, right? And then I'm just sitting here like, like really, you think so? I'm a 21-year-old man actively watching professional wrestling. And you think I think it's real? Like that's the first thing you want to tell me about it is that it's fake or it's staged, you scripted, and it's like a lot of times I'll give him a sarcastic answer like, "What? Really? Oh my God! You just ruined my whole life. I thought it was real." Let me just tell you guys something. If you're over the age, I want to say of like 11 or 12. I'm pretty sure like professional wrestling is I like think of it as kind of like theatrical theater kind of like that's how I think about it. My mom used to say like it's soap operas for like guys, and at the time I was like no, but now thinking about it like yeah. It's soap opera for guys. There's storylines, and the storyline progresses like either them fighting or them talking about it, and so it's stories. Like I know it's not legitimately two people going in a ring and beating the shit out of each other. I mean, sometimes, hey, pro wrestling, that's just no joke. That shit hurts. I've tried a little bit, and trust me, that it's not. It's fun, but it hurts. It really does, and so. Basically, like I was saying, if you're over the age of like 11 or 12, professional wrestling isn't real. Like, so thank you for trying to educate me, and I appreciate it. You spreading the knowledge, but I already know that it is predetermined. Okay, I don't think they're actually going out there and like beating the crap out of each other with stairs and like throwing each other off ladders and through tables and stuff. Okay, like I know this, but I just enjoy it. I just enjoy it. This is what it is. Talking about what are we gonna talk about next? It takes a certain kind of personality to really enjoy wrestling. I feel like, cause some of the storylines are really corny and childish. Some of the things in there you're like. So even me, sometimes I'm like, am I really watching this right now? Like, yo, this is kind of dumb, kind of stupid, But I still love it, honestly. I really do. It's just, oh man. Now it got me like thinking about it hard. Like, what do I love about it specifically? And it's just something about some of the storylines that are created in it. Are just like you get invested in it, you know what I'm saying? Like even though some of it's like really corny or kind of bad, you love it. And there's a certain kind of person you have to be able to do that. And so man, it's just sometimes when you're not only just like sometimes the storylines are but the in-ring action can be really good, and sometimes the in-ring action is but the storylines can be really good, and I love just the in-ring part of it is where I really get a lot of enjoyment out is watching the performers because they're performing actually like perform and use their craft, like using their trade that they've usually worked their whole lives on, and usually they've worked a very long time, their whole lives, sometimes perfecting this craft and performing in a ring for our entertainment. Like it's what pro wrestling is. It's entertainment for us. So, but there's just something about it when when the in ring action and the storylines like click, man, there's it's honestly just there's a magic that happens. And me being a pro wrestling fan, I love when like being able to watch and witness like this magic of storytelling, and just the magic of storytelling really kind of express itself. And that's a big part of wrestling, that you have to be a certain kind of person to really be able to recognize and see when it's happening. Because a lot of people watch WWE and those punches look so fake and they can't get invested, or they don't really, like, it just doesn't move them really, you know. Because I get moved by wrestling sometimes, like. And if you're a wrestling fan, I know everyone has those moments where they're actually like moved. They have some kind of connection with it. And there's so many parts, you know. It's kind of like music, art. It's an art, right? Wrestling is an art, and art is very personal and touches different people in different ways, you know. Some people EDM, you know, gets them going. Country music gets them going. Classical, rap, hip hop, rock. You know, there's music. There's so many different kinds, because something about it really touches and speaks to them. And that's the same thing with pro wrestling. Is something about it touches and speaks to you when you watch it. That it just clicks. It makes sense. You feel a connection with it, and like that's just what pro wrestling does, and that's why it takes a certain individual or person to really enjoy pro wrestling. And I'm just one of those people. Like when I watch it, sometimes it just moves me. Like I get really like I don't know how to explain it, but it just does. You know, like storytelling. Like a lot of people see professional wrestling and they see people fighting in a ring, or fighting, you know, because that's what it is. It's performance. They're performing, fighting, and physically altercating with each other. So a fight, I'll just keep calling it a fight or a match, you know. A lot of people don't watch it and see the storytelling happening when two people are fighting, but it just, if you see it, you see it. If you don't, you don't. And I just do. It makes sense to me, and I like it. I love it, actually. I love watching wrestling, you know, because it makes sense, and I just love it. I don't like, that's just I just do. Watching it, just I love it. So what else do we want to talk about it? That's just my little spiel about the professional wrestling, and really the kind of people it speaks to, and why I don't even know why it speaks to me. I'm trying to think about it. It just does. You know, I have a connection with it, and it just happens naturally. I can't explain it. It's just how it is. And so, yeah, that's wrestling and my love for it. And I could literally sit here and make if I talk about everything about that I've just talked about professional wrestling, I could go on for forever. Like this video would be like a couple weeks long, months, years. You know, I just love it. I really do. And like those people that get it and are good at telling those stories, like they're like really talented performers. Like everyone sees the like WWE is the biggest pro wrestling company in the world. Like hands down, there's no debating that. Us as pro wrestling fans know it. Even if some of us like to deny it, we know it's it's the big daddy, you know. It's the big time. It's the big show, you know. Not the big show like the rest of like the big stage. You know what I'm saying? It's the pros, you know. There's so many pro wrestling promotions that are so good. There's little gems and diamonds to find all over the world and all these different pro wrestling companies. But WWE is the biggest one, right? So what was I even talking about? Oh man. I was gonna just pause and listen to it back, but we're gonna go through this little, trying to sort through it in my mind together. What were we talking about before we went on that little tangent about WWE? Oh man, what was it? Oh, schnitz. Okay, guys, listen. I'm just have to pause it right here, and I'm gonna go back and listen to it before I went on that little tangent and see what I was talking about. So just give me a sec. Okay, my boys. So I'm back. I went back and listened to it, what I was talking about. And I listened to it for like over and over again for like the last like 20 to 30 minutes or so. And like, oh man, I was going somewhere and I went into a rabbit hole, like a complete rabbit hole. And you know, I do that a lot when I'm talking about things. It's very hard for me sometimes to complete thoughts, because I'll be thinking about something and I go into a rabbit hole, and then in that rabbit hole I jump into another rabbit hole, and in that little tangent I'll go into a different tangent. So at the end of the video it's like we've gone through this weird curving journey path together, and it's completely different than what I wanted to talk about. But anyways, back to what I was talking about, professional wrestling. So I was talking about performers, and they are performers. I was talking about those people that are really good at performing it and get wrestling, and are really good at putting on wrestling shows, and it's difficult, man, to really tell the stories. One of my favorite pro wrestlers right now is AJ Styles. He's called the Phenomenal One. He is really phenomenal. There's a reason why people consider him one of the best pro wrestlers around today, if not like ever. Cause he's just an amazing athlete, and a phenomenal athlete. Hence the name, the Phenomenal One. You know, he's a phenomenal athlete. And then, so in an interview that I listened to, an interview with him, and he said he's been wrestling for about 15 years now, and he said, yeah, like he was doing all the moves and all the things and all the crazy flips and the dives, and he was really good at it. But he said he didn't really understand the whole storytelling part of it for about until like 9 years into his career. That's when it really started to make sense to him, that the storytelling part of it, and the whole aspect of going into a ring with somebody and not just hitting moves, but telling a story through those moves that you're hitting, and expressing a story and a struggle with another person, both struggling to win this contest, and just the stories you can go through, the ups and downs and the roller coaster. He said he didn't really understand how to really express that in matches until he was like 8 or 9 years in the business, in professional wrestling. So, oh man, rabbit hole time. Oh, what was I talking about? I'm not gonna pause the video. I'm just gonna keep the craziness, the storm that is my mind. We're just gonna keep going along, because if I keep pausing and going back, trying to think about what I was talking about and trying to bring it back, we're gonna be here all night. We're gonna be here forever. I'm gonna be making this video for the next couple months, because that's just how my brain works. You know, in one moment, out the next, talk about something completely different. But anyways, oh man, what was I? God dang it! I'm gonna have to get better at this when we keep making YouTube videos, man. AJ Styles, the Phenomenal One, my favorite wrestler right now, currently wrestling, and one of the best in the world. Storytelling, right? Okay, so professional wrestling is all about telling a story with another person in the ring, conveying a story in the ring using different moves, the struggle. Like there's so many different ways to express it, and crafting and molding a story, and with these two people and presenting it. Oh man, it's just a beautiful thing to watch, you know. So many cliches you could say. It's poetry in motion. It's physical art. It's a performing art. It really is. That's what it is. It's a performing art, and it's just everyone has a different taste of art, a different way art speaks to them. Professional wrestling is the exact same way. Okay, the kind of people are all the same kind of people that watch and like professional wrestling for the art of it. They're all the same kind of people, but they all interpret it different ways and love it different ways, you know? And that's what I personally just love about professional wrestling. And if you don't, you might be one of those people and not know it. So if you haven't watched WWE since you were like younger, and I would just, not even WWE, just like professional wrestling in general, and you haven't watched it recently, first do a little bit of research, find the really good wrestling matches, because there are some, I love it, but there's some bad matches, I'm not going to lie to you. So do a little research, find ones that are really good matches, and watch it. See if anything happens. See if it makes you feel anything. See if you get a reaction out. If not, you know, hey, you're just not into it. But maybe this just doing that, it might spark something in you, and it just opens a whole new world that you can experience and fall in love with. You know, because I love professional wrestling. It's when I found into it, I fell into it hard, and I'm still to this day, a couple of years later, like a good amount of time later. What has it been like? Man, it's been over half my life now. I'm pretty sure that I've been a pretty hardcore wrestling fan, and I've just grown a love and appreciation for it, and I probably always will have that love and appreciation for it. I guarantee that I'll be a pro wrestling fan for the rest of my life. It speaks to me. I have a connection with it that I don't see not being a part of my life. But anyways, so just little specifics. Gonna talk and do specifically. For maybe some of you pro wrestling fans that are listening and are still watching this long, convoluted, drawn out video of me just talking my microphone's ear off. So, WWE is the big daddy, the big time, the big stage, the pro league of professional wrestling. It's the big one. So, and us as pro wrestling fans, the main roster, that being SmackDown and Monday Night Raw, it can be very back and forth. The highs are really freaking high. Like they make some amazing moments, but they're recently, I'm not gonna lie, they've been missing the mark a little bit, and it's just sometimes, you know, it can be a struggle to watch sometimes, just because sometimes it's really bad. I'm not like, even me as a love, just I went on a rant here of how much I love professional wrestling. It can be really bad sometimes. But one WWE product that I highly recommend, and that I personally really love for the kind of wrestling that I like, is NXT. Honestly, I know everyone's like, oh yeah, everyone knows NXT is good. But if you're struggling, like you're a pro wrestling fan and you're struggling watching WWE, like SmackDown and Raw, Give NXT a try out, because honestly, they're doing some amazing things down there in Florida. You know, they're doing some amazing like things. Like NXT been consistently good, really, since it switched from that like kind of like reality TV garbage that it was into like actual like a developmental like its own like little wrestling company inside the WWE. Ever since it was like its own little thing, it's been fantastic and consistently fantastic, my guy. Like, oh my goodness, some of my like favorite matches and characters in WWE and just professional wrestling as a whole have come from NXT. Just phenomenal matches. Like recently, like the Velveteen Dream. Oh my goodness, this man is going somewhere, man. He is a character. Like he is like a flamboyant, just amazing character. And that's one of the things I love about wrestling is when you have amazing characters that are really good at telling story. And he gets it, man. He gets it. He is so good at telling stories. And just really all the real main big players down there in NXT are such. They just get it. They're just kind of people that understand it, and they put together some amazing, just gorgeous matches. You know, the whole Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa, like their whole like feud over these last couple years, you know, has been fantastic. Some of the most moving wrestling I've seen in a while. You know, like just that whole feud between those two, just fantastic. You know. All the War Games recently, NXT War Games 2 just happened, and that War Games match, man, that was some phenomenal professional wrestling, and everyone in that match was so good. You know, sometimes when you have 8 people all in a ring, well, 2 rings technically in War Games, but all in like a single match, it can get messy, it can get cluttered, but that match was just so good. And really, it was just an awesome match. Honestly, I would watch that if you haven't watched it. Honestly, you know, just really, if you don't want to watch the weekly NXT shows, I would at least watch the takeovers when they happen. There's only like 4 or 5 a year, my guy. You can do it. You can watch it. All the big 4 pay-per-views that WWE puts on, they always have a takeover along with it. You know, and these takeover shows, they're fantastic. So good. So good. Anyways, okay. I'm gonna get off my little soapbox. It's been about half an hour now. I'll don't worry. Professional wrestling will be a big part of this channel just because it's still a big part of my life. So it will be a big part of this channel, and this channel is kind of like a little reflection of my life. So this will be a topic that comes back. I'll talk about many different things about it, but yeah. So you know, see you guys on the flip side. You know, stay woke, stay classy, and pause beef. Peace.